Today we're playing something a little different. Starting off as a lone wolf, I'll be tasked with learning how to survive my environment, and finding a suitable enough mate to start a family with. We'll have to claim territory, fight off rival wolves, and hunt our own prey. Our pups won't be allowed to live unchallenged either. Nature will come for them in many ways, and we'll have to defend them with all our might. If you perhaps played this game when you were a kid, then let nostalgia and I take you on a journey. This is Wolf Quest Anniversary Edition. My first challenge was of course creating a wolf. I'm so goddamn picky and I wanted to look at every single coat color before I made a decision. Jumping in, I was greeted with a gorgeous yet rugged landscape. I named my wolf Raven. This name spoke to me because of her dark pelt and mysterious eyes. My wolf belly was grumbling, and so I had to get to work tracking down my first taste of prey. Though I have to admit I didn't really know how to crouch yet, and so I just stood here awkwardly observing. I also discovered that they are speedy. Way too speedy for me. To impress the boy wolves out there, I would need to catch myself a few elk, to at least prove that I had it in me to survive. Yeah, I think it's okay. We got this. Though so far I was proving mildly incompetent. We don't got this. Oh, he's so quick. Yeah, no shit, an elk herd's nearby. Clearly, I still had a lot to learn. My feeble attempts getting me run over, leaving me injured in both body and soul. I found something. Well, hey, I hadn't caught any elk yet, but at least I had this antler. Close enough, right? Maybe it was time I set my sights on something a little easier to catch. Get that bunny! Get that bunny! Oh my god, I ran past it! I'm so useless. Get him! Oh my gosh, nice. Easy. One bite, one kill. I just pin-slopped that rabbit. Using my powers, I began to track another rabbit, seeing as that was the only creature I was actually able to catch. Seems like I wasn't the only one out here hunting bunnies. The local coyotes could only watch as I snatched up their dinner. Oh my god, I just stole it. That's so mean. Sorry guys, I'm the bigger dog. Bigger dog gets the bunny. What is that? Oh, beaver! A beaver! So the purple bar at the bottom, that's my wolf's energy. All that sprinting and missing and being useless was leaving me without much left. So this time I put my nose to the ground and found a trail where a beaver would walk out to gather food and materials for its den. Then, with all the stealth I could manage, I crouched down and mustered all the patience that I had. When I felt the time was right, I launched my attack, doing the same mistake as before and running past my target. The whole goal of that ambush mission was to keep the beaver out of the water. So, after some maneuvering and some luck in fighting the most stupid beaver on the planet, I was eventually able to wear it down by nibbling on its neck until it fell into the water. That went, smoothly, I guess. I was still hungry and so I hunted another. To this beaver's credit, it was less stupid and it turned around to bite me on the neck. After reminding him who the true predator was, I ate him for dinner and my belly was at last full. Now that my energy was restored, I would have to get back to the task at hand, hunting elk. I did try to nibble this one, but I think he was a bit big for me, dishing out more damage than I was dealing, and then eventually turning around to square up. After a brief standoff, it became evident that this relationship wasn't going to work out, so I decided I would try my luck on some female elk instead.
Ow! Pimp down!
Just my luck that this one ankle tapped itself and fell down ripe for the picking. I didn't realize its mother would rush to its defense. I had to quickly learn a good strategy, rushing in when the calf was on the run, and then letting go in time to avoid the mother's hooves. At last, I brought down the calf. I needed it for a quest, not so much for food, and so I went to sleep, planning to eat it when I awoke. Little did I know, sleeping outside my territory would bring in competitors hoping to steal my meal. After a long standoff, I growled in order to scare them away, but instead, this just enraged them. Oh my god, it's JCB! Stop! Go away. Oh god. Get off of me! In retaliation, I gave one of them a good neck biting, and then eventually decided it wasn't really worth it. I didn't need the food anyway. A lone elk watched me as I rehydrated myself, and then I was on my way. I had to kill that second elk. It didn't take me very long to find them. I performed pretty much the same rodeo as before, and turned this elk into dinner. At last, the game let me know that I could go seek out a mate, and it didn't take me very long either. To be honest, it was more like they found me. Well, this one's a write-off. Well, you might as well be my brother with that diversity. Let's have a look at the others. This one is very pretty. They're both pretty. I honestly couldn't decide on the two of them, and I didn't really know what I was doing, so I just rolled around, and eventually this brown male came up to me more often. Though I guess my riz wasn't good enough for him because he wanted to go on a trial run. I guess I should probably show off to him, let him know I am actually capable of hunting things, even if those things are only babies and small mammals. After some biting and chasing, it seemed like I was doing all the work here. Finch did eventually pitch in and help me, and of course got himself hurt in the process, but I guess we all get hurt in our first hunt. I forgive him, cause together we took down this young moose. Maybe we might just make a good team after all. Oh, he loves it. You better love it, that took forever. Hello? How long is he gonna howl for? Gah! Set of lungs on that guy. Finch still needed more romance in his life, and so we stared into each other's eyes, hunted down prey, babies of course, and eventually took down our first adult male deer. He even silently judged me as I rolled around on the ground. A rather rude coyote approached the situation, letting out his best howl, and when I shut him up, Finch seemed to appreciate my violent gesture, and so we became mates. Next, I realized that I had a lot of territory to claim, and so far I had nothing. To claim enough land in order to raise pups of my own, I would have to go into enemy territory and take huge whizzes right in the middle of their space. Not very ladylike, but pretty effective. This sort of behavior wouldn't go unnoticed by the neighboring wolf packs. We were claiming their space after all. Soon I found myself in a battle, a 2v4. Not a situation you want to be in as an inexperienced wolf, but there's no way I could back down, no matter what happened. To raise a family of strong fighters, I was going to need to prove myself. Considering we were severely outnumbered, my strategy was going to be to target the wolf with the lowest health, but its friends were not going to make that easy. He's low. Get him! No! I keep getting grabbed all the time! No! During the chaos, a few of their members had gotten very low, and when they finally decided to turn tail and run, it was too late. This pack had fought me and Finch half to death, and we needed their land. At this point, I had nothing but pure rage coursing through me. I chased down multiple party members and ended them. And then I took a pee, pondering if it was all worth it. All the blood spilled as I pushed deeper into Rose Creek territory. Though my hunger was still pretty high, I am just greedy. I tracked down some more elk and, of course, went for the youngest. What can I say? I'm an opportunist. Don't let him run! There we go. Last bite. Nice. Food is secured. And I've been making good progress on the territory. Have a look. All that good progress? Yeah, well, now we were pushing in on Sugarloaf territory, another neighboring pack, and they weren't happy either. Maybe they hadn't heard. We were the top dogs around here now. So I guess I'd have to show them. Oh my god, neck bite. I'll give you a neck bite. The Sugarloaf pack seemed stronger than the others, and soon my health pool was greatly depleted. Between all the territory claiming and fighting for my life, I hadn't slept in a while. So my wakefulness was also low, which was going to affect my stamina. At this point, I did get a little nervous, deciding maybe I should run away. However, this enemy pack wasn't going to let me escape, and so it had to be a fight to the death. And now that my legs were snapping in half for some reason, I felt as though I had victory. And Finch definitely let me know his approval. One more piggy to claim some more territory, and it was just in time. I finally claimed my den and claimed a few perks that would help me in the years to come. I went for mostly parenting perks, which is pretty lucky considering I had 6 puppies. That feels like a lot. Soon though, they were all named and beginning to take their first steps into the world. After all this fighting, running, and hunting, I could finally take a break and enjoy what I had been working so hard to accomplish. I greeted my pups with a roll, and they greeted me with the cutest little tail wag you've ever seen. I was super excited to see all their unique colors as they exited the den. Even Finch, who's usually serious, rolled around. At this age, our pups can't eat for themselves, so I'm gonna have to puke up a lot of food for them. Thankfully though, this means I won't need to bring them back live for prey. I can just fill my belly and run on home. Family moment over, it was time to hunt down some prey. I chose something sturdy, a bull elk. It ran a lot. But eventually it ran out of stamina and turned to face us. This time, instead of running, we fought, latching on in order to drain its energy and bring it down. As Finch circled me, not helping all that much, I made a note to myself to try and train my pups to be fine hunters so that they could assist me in the future. If all my pups survive, they'll grow up into a fine wolf pack and help me nurture and raise my next litter. The elk needed a little more persuading, but eventually he went down, bruising my jaw in the process. At this point I was exhausted, and so I chose to have a quick nap. Unfortunately, this attracted the rats, but I didn't really have time to stay and fight them. Quail had decided that he didn't want to be in the den anymore, and so I had to quickly finish up eating and run home. All the well-behaving pups wandered out the den to greet me as I fed them. And then I remembered there was still a naughty pup I had to look for. So I put my nose to the ground, ready to sniff him out, but before I could get too far ahead of myself, Finch managed to wrangle the naughty thing, bringing him home and placing him with the rest of his family so he could eat dinner. I didn't realize pups could just leave whenever they wanted, so now I was mildly paranoid, picking up anyone who strayed too far and bringing them home. The snow began to fall, reminding me that even in the warmer seasons, this was still a harsh environment. That night, curled up in the safety and warmth of the den, I dreamt of the stars, of the night sky, and of a large creature in the snow, moving between the trees, as if in a prophecy. And when I returned to check my kill, there it was, a mother protecting her cub, feeding off my hard work. I stood there a moment. We were both mothers, both needing food to provide for our young. And then I bit her child. She did not like that. Predictable, I suppose. Keep her distracted so I could fill up. A simple misclick sent me almost charging into her face, but I was able to swerve just in time. I only wanted to fill my stomach, bring home food to my young. I found that now and then, when she wasn't looking, I could take a meat chunk, sneak it away, and fill up on it. I repeated this process a few times, each time taking a chunk and scurrying away. I suppose she got the message. I wasn't messing around, this was my food after all. And so, with a full belly and not much energy spent, I was able to mark my territory and head back home to my pups. I even brought back a chunk for Finch. He seemed pretty happy about that. Come on, gather round. Eat your slop. I had responsibilities now with 6 pups to feed, but that didn't mean I could slack on my territory marking. I left my pups in the den and stumbled upon a few beavers as I went to mark my territory. While eating our fill, I got a terrible message. One of my pups, Lark, had fallen sick. I quickly ate my fill and gave up on any plans of marking my territory so I could rush back home to check on my pups. Here they are, coming out the den. Hello, you guys. Where's Lark? Oh, he's walking so slowly. No! Hello? Give me a tail wag. Locke was too weak to give me his signature tail wag, instead laying down and falling asleep. I sat with him throughout the next day, howling and trying to lift his spirits. Eventually, there wasn't more I could do for him, and so I set off, tracking down the scent of a corpse. It was guarded by a cougar, but luckily I was able to sneak a few bites. No sassy kitty was going to keep me from my sick pup. I stuffed my face, and then took a chunk back with me to the den, having a quick pee on the way as per usual. Finch had been left at home, and he was quickly becoming a good stay-at-home dad. The pups rushed over, greedy and excited for their meal, but someone else stayed behind in the den. It was a bad sign, a sign of weakness. Reluctance to eat is the killer in most pups. I was exhausted, but I wasn't going to go to sleep until I made sure that Locke got a first bite, even though all the other greedy siblings came over to try and share it with him. I swear to God, Quail is the greediest, most troublemaking pup out of all of them. As I rested in the grass with the Locke, something woke me. Call it a hunch. I almost didn't spot the danger. But I did, and so did Finch. He was already on it. These nasty little trespassers were from the Bison Pass pack. I sank my teeth into the enemy wolf's neck, but as he escaped, I turned to see him running straight towards all my pups who were wide out in the open. They might have not been the smartest cookies, or maybe it was my fault for not telling them to get in their den. Puffin made a very close escape, and I made sure to remind everyone that maybe it was time to get in the den. There was one pup, however, that was just too slow, too weak, and that couldn't make it home. I'd been forced to step away in order to defend my family, and in that moment, Locke had sadly passed on. I honestly should have kept chasing this wolf till there was nothing left but its bones in the ground. But I wanted to turn back to my pups, reassure them that everything was okay. That attacker was the female pack leader of Bison Pass, and I named her Bison so that in the future I would remember her face. After realizing that such a thing was possible, I was on high alert, keeping my eye out for any wolves that strayed too close. And soon I'd spotted two members of the Gooseberry Pack, another somewhat recently established pack. They were hunting bison way too close to my land. I chased them away, biting their ankles a few times and letting them know that this was unacceptable behavior. Even the Rose Creek Pack was still causing issues for me, and this wolf wasn't so lucky because I did kill her for her trespassing crimes. And then of course I stopped to itch my fleas. Fleas were becoming a minor issue. On our way back from territory marking, Finch was bringing a bunny, and I even brought a bunny of my own. I guess while we were away, Kestrel had wandered out of the den and decided to venture out all on his own. So yeah, I had to go track him down, was sniffing around, and Finch was not as useful as last time. So he did not help me. Luckily though, it didn't take very long before I found the naughty pup. He really didn't go that far, so I was beginning to question his intelligence. I mean, really? You're lost? Come on. Quail was also sick at this stage, so I was feeling a little nervous. As I settled down for a nap, I was notified that the seasons were beginning to change yet again. Soon I was going to be able to find young calves and fawns hiding in the grass near their mothers while they grazed. I wasted no time searching for them. I was still an opportunist at heart. Any chance to keep my energy up and grab a free meal was a chance that I was going to take. I searched and eventually got distracted by a moose calf. This seemed like a bit of a better option. It must have had more meat on its bones, surely. Finch was at home making sure no pups wandered off to get lost, so it was up to me to bring down this little elk. All while dodging the mother's hooves, of course. My plan worked out, which is perfect because I was feeling rather hungry and so were the pups. I brought it home to them, Finch happy to see me after his long time of babysitting. Quail, on the other hand, well, he was feeling sick. He crawled out the den, barely able to hold his head up and eat. I was hoping to sit with him, raise his spirits, and make him feel a bit better, but instead I sensed danger on the horizon. A pack of enemy wolves were closing in. Having learned from my previous mistake, I barked at the little wolf pups, sending them back into the safety of the den as I confronted the danger. Rose, the alpha wolf of Rose Creek Pack, was closing in. She had brought her and her pack here in order to kill off my offspring, or, I don't know, maybe kidnap them. Either way though, that really made me mad. I unfortunately committed more acts of violence, ending her life so that she wouldn't come back again to haunt me. In the aftermath, Quail seemed to be feeling a little better. More like his usual self, frolicking, eating, doing all the normal pup things. Everyone was healthy and well, and yet, I couldn't relax. Change was coming. While Quail, he never changed. He was lost again, which wasn't going to stop anytime soon. Now that all of my pups had almost reached 15 pounds, I would have to leave the safety of this nesting site, heading out into the woods in order to track new opportunities. And of course, I was still tracking Quail. Yeah, he was lost again, as per usual. As I hunted him down, I realized there was danger nearby. Though we weren't in our usual space anymore, that didn't stop the predators from lurking. A coyote had found the place that we were temporarily calling home, and I had to make sure that every pup that wasn't listening and was not running to safety, despite my instructions, wasn't also getting eaten, which was quite challenging, but somehow we managed to pull it off. And then, of course, I had to get back to what I was doing before. Dude, is this thing serious? It's always lost. Maybe, you know what? I actually do really need this food. Maybe I'll just let him stay lost for a second. I'll find him at some point, surely. I had food on the mind. And so, to teach Quail a lesson about patience and endurance, I just kind of, left him in the wilderness and went hunting. It was fine. I eventually tracked him down, which was difficult now that all the prints were overlapped, and gave him a good talking to. You are an idiot. You're an idiot. Come with me. One might have thought a homeless mother of 5 deserved a bit of a break after that, but no. Sugarloaf immediately decided that they were going to try and raid me yet again. Not very friendly. Luckily, it was only one wolf attacking me, so despite all my pups not listening to any instruction that I told them to go and hide, I managed to keep it off them, and they all lived to tell the tale. That night, we slept under the stars, without a den to protect us. As morning arrived, so too did the cougar that decided the best, most delectable prey would be Quail. The what? What? Stop! 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 Unhand him! No. Stop! Oh my god, that was so close. Get it! Get it! Get it! Quail, run! Quail! Despite Quail being my worst behaved pup, I couldn't let him suffer at the hands of a cougar. I was still loyal to being his mother. So time after time, I kept putting myself between him and the cougar, distracting it, until eventually I could pick him up and carry him to safety. Oh my god, I have him. Finch, you got that right? You got that handled right? Oh my. Please hide in this grass. Please. Please. Everyone else hid except him. With Quail finally tucked away into the long grass, I was able to handle the cougar, sending it fleeing from our camp. Yeah. And stay out, and don't come back. This place is so unsafe. Unsafe was almost an understatement. We were getting attacked non-stop, and I could not keep this up. My wolf needed to heal and get her energy back, but she really couldn't with all these onslaughts. But my pups didn't have much energy too, which was going to make the trek slow and painful. All I could do was hope that they could survive it. We hadn't even made it very far before the pups decided that they were exhausted and could no longer keep up. We napped briefly in the long grass, but as usual, stopping and waiting only gave the predators a chance to catch up with us. And the cougar, it hadn't lost our trail. As usual, keeping tabs on so many young lives is difficult. Hawk panicked in the heat of the moment. He very nearly became the snack that the cougar was clearly hungry for. But not to worry, I am now an experienced supermom, so of course I scooped him up, carrying him off to safety. This time praying that he would at least listen and stay put in the grass. She almost found their hiding spot, but luckily I was able to give her a nip that sent her running. We could not stay here. Soon they were exhausted again, and in the morning the predictable happened. Yet another attack. Mid-battle, this time not just with one enemy, but with two, and the pups decided to scatter. They were panicking, and so was I. But while I worked on calming them, Finch was a warrior. And the second they were back to the safety of the tall grass, we launched our second attack. But not without Kestrel deciding that she hadn't wandered off just yet. Honestly, I was at my wit's end. This was so stressful. Why won't you listen? Please, stay. Stay. I might have relapsed on my evil ways and took my anger out on one of the attackers. Sugarloaf needed to be sent a message. Don't come back. Another full day's travel and we had finally made it, though I admit I was a little confused on how to get this thing set up. After a bit of wandering around with the pup, I discovered the location I was meant to go to. And once we'd finally got ourselves set up, I could finally feel at least a little bit more safe than before. This was going to be our home for a while my pups gained weight. Finch and I had some long months of hunting ahead of us. During this time, I unfortunately couldn't be home constantly. The pups needed to eat, and so demand was high for me to hunt. Sadly, one of my young pups, Kestrel, didn't make it. Nature's cruelty and the workload split between only two wolves, it was inevitable that only the strongest would survive. Well, after all that, I would somehow now have to teach this ragtag bunch how to hunt. Puffin, very unproblematic child. Robin, who was very social with all the other pups. Quail, the problem of the family. And of course, Hawk, which I would say is also pretty unproblematic. I guess he's tired. What? Quail, can we just... With so many mouths, we would still need to hunt pretty often, but luckily I had quite the army at my side. My task was now to find them manageable prey that they could track down, such as this younger elk. Yeah, the mother would still be a problem, but at least I could be there to keep an eye on everything. I had to make sure that everyone had their turn, gaining experience by hunting. But of course, if they got too injured, I would have to step in, sending them back and telling them to be careful. Food for the family, and no injuries. I would say that's quite successful. As the seasons change, it won't always be like this. Hunting with my family, having them copy my movements and learn off every turn. Soon I would have another litter of pups, and my 1-year-olds would be up to help me, staying home to watch them while I could hunt more efficiently. But for now, we'll all work together. And for now, I think that's where we leave it. This wolf pack's opportunities open for new changes in the future. If you enjoyed it, then maybe consider subscribing, because this video has taken me a really long time. Though the sun sets for now on this journey, perhaps it will rise again with yours.